GRAYS Ferry, also known as GRAYS Ferry, is a neighborhood in South Philadelphia bounded roughly by 25th Street to the east, the Schuylkill River to the west, Vere Avenue to the south, and Grays Ferry Avenue to the north. We are currently at the intersection of 29th and Wharton Street. We're capturing footage in 8K Ultra HD. Make sure to adjust the resolution in your YouTube browser. You can click the little gear wheel and it'll access a drop-down menu. You can watch this in the video quality of your choice. So there is a section of this neighborhood west of 34th Street, also known as the Forgotten Bottom. I've documented that area before, so if you want to, feel free to look at some of my old virtual tours, you can do so. We have Century on our right-hand side, established 100 years ago. Wow. We're at 29th and Reed. We're going to continue traveling southbound. We're passing Reed. 2900 block to our right, 2800 block to our left. We're about to pass the 2900 block of Jarrett to our right-hand side. We have row homes on our left, some with open porches, some with closed porches. We're passing the 2900 block of Wilder. We have St. Gabriel's Catholic Church on our right-hand side. We're approaching Dickinson. We're at 29th and Dickinson. We're going to continue traveling southbound on 29th Street. As you can see, this block is lined with two-story row homes. Many of them have the original red stone bricks. Some have a variation of bricks. And we have a handful that have stucco cement work. We're at the intersection of 29th and Tasker Street. Tasker Street is also known as Dean's Way. 29th is also known as Marquis Boulevard. On our right-hand side, we have a park. There are individuals in the park practicing. There's a group of people practicing, playing. It looks like what looks to be flag football. We're at 29th and Morris. We have the police camera on the pole on our right-hand side above the one-way sign. We're going to continue traveling southbound. So Grays Ferry also shares borders with Southwest Center City to the north, Point Breeze to the east, and Girard Estates to the south. Grays Ferry is across from where Mill Creek debouches at about 43rd Street. We're at 29th and Moore. I'm going to make this right-hand turn on Moore. Now, to my understanding, there was once a very large low-level projects in this community. If you look to your left and you look to your right, you'll have a bunch of brand new houses. These houses, I believe, are owned by PHA, which is Philadelphia Housing Authority, low-income housing. They are beautiful homes, though. We're at 30th and Moore Street. Let's make a right-hand turn on 30th Street. I'm going to allow this vehicle to pass us. We have Cons Willer B. Pratt Apartments on our left-hand side. And then we have these newerish houses on my right-hand side, which have a little lawn. They're really uniform, brown stones, little porches with an awning. So historically, Grays Ferry was one of the largest enclaves of Irish Americans in the city. And while there are still many Irish left, it is now home to a significant African American population. We're at Morris and 30th Street. We're entering the 1600 block of 30th Street. We're going to continue moving forward. That's the park on our right-hand side. On our left-hand side, we have some of those newer homes which run throughout this community. We're about to approach some of the more original homes, which are after Tasker. We're traveling northbound on 30th Street. We're at the intersection of 30th and Tasker Street. We have an abandoned house to our left-hand side. It's boarded up. I don't know if you can notice the porch has some wood on it. So this area developed near an important crossing of the Schuylkill River. In the 18th century, Grays Ferry was the southernmost of 3 ferries that crossed the Schuylkill River to Philadelphia. The neighborhood's namesake, Ferry, originally belonged to a Benjamin Chambers in the 17th century. By 1747, George Gray had taken over the ferry and established the nearby Gray's Inn and Gray's Garden. We're at 30th and Dickinson. I'm going to take this about 1 more block forward and then we can make a left-hand turn. We're passing a school. Passing Wilder Street. Spelled wild with an ER at the end. Now I could have took this straight and showed you guys Grays Ferry Avenue. Maybe I should do that, right? I think I'm gonna take this 1 more block forward. Shout out to One Way Corey and the whole crew. I know One Way Corey from around this block right here. You got Black Poppy's corner store on our left. You have one new house on our left-hand side. Now this neighborhood is being gentrified slowly but surely, meaning there are new homes. As you can see, another 2 or 3 on our left-hand side. You see where that box truck is taking stuff into the property. We have BV's Catering on our right, connected to Pete's Pizza, Pete's Famous Pizza. We got Black Poppy's 2 Hot Station on our left at the intersection of 30th and Wharton. Lighthouse Christian Center on our right-hand side. We have Donald P. Finnegan Playground on our right. We're passing Titan Street. That whole block of Titan, there was tons and tons of new houses. Now, as I mentioned in the past, I've covered this area a handful of times before in both daytime and nighttime. I've did driving and walking tours in this area. So if you want to check out this area a little more in depth, feel free to visit one of my older videos. We're approaching Grays Ferry Avenue. This is the Grays Ferry Avenue in Grays Ferry. We're at 30th and Grays Ferry. That's Grays Ferry Shopping Center directly in front of us. They have a Chase Bank, nail salon, fine wine and good spirits, fresh grocer, and more. So before the act of consolidation in 1854, this neighborhood was a part of the Moyamensing Township. Now Moyamensing is not far from here. It's minutes away. You got Moyamensing Ave and all of that stuff. We're passing a Go Puff facility on our left-hand side. We're gonna make this left-hand turn on 31st Street. Now, directly in front of us, in about 3 blocks or less, you will hit the Forgotten Bottom neighborhood, which I have covered before in the past. We're at 31st and Grays Ferry Ave. So Moyamensing was chartered by the Dutch governor, Alexander de Hinus. I'm sorry, let me pronounce this correctly. Alexander de Hinojosa. And in 1684, William Penn confirmed the title. The demographics of this area, as of the most recent United States Census: Black 56%, white 39%, other 5%. We're gonna make this left-hand turn. More than 30% of the residents are under 18 years of age. Currently, the neighborhood, which represents less than 1% of the city's population, houses more than 10% of Section 8 residents in the city. We're passing Titan. You see that new property on our left? So as you can see, there are a fair share of original houses here. There's a fair share of Section 8 houses, and then there is a new abundance of newly constructed homes. So the Tasker homes, which was the projects that I was referring to earlier, also known as the Tasker housing projects, were located at 29th and Morris Streets and visible from the Schuylkill Expressway. Originally, the housing project had 1,100 units. and followed the city's general model of high-density, low-income housing. All right, we're back at Reed. Now, word of mouth, we're passing Greater Philadelphia Health Action, Carl Moore Health Center on our left. By word of mouth, what I was told in the past was that at one point when the Italians ran majority of South Philly, the minorities were strictly sectioned off to stay in this corner of the city and not to step out of bounds. Now, I don't know how accurate that is. That was before my time, but if anybody wants to chime in, feel free. We're at 31st and Dickinson. We have a food market on our left called Black Angel Food Market. So during Mayor John Street's administration, the Philadelphia Housing Authority declared certain higher housing as blighted, demolishing it and replacing it with lower density townhomes. Public housing in 2004, the Tasker homes were demolished and replaced with the Greater GRAYS Ferry Estates. The new townhomes have increased tension between working class residents and the occupants of the Section 8 housing within the neighborhood. The reasons most often cited are memories of the problems with the Tasker homes. We're at 31st and Tasker, and to my understanding, there are documentaries available on the internet which document the ongoing feuds between blocks in this area. We're passing Fernan Street. To my knowledge, there was like wars between blocks. So you might have been from this block, and then 3-4 blocks down on our left, there was a group of young fellows and they were warring amongst each other and they were feuding, and gun violence was their solution to solving their problems. So there were many lives lost in this neighborhood. Year after year, somebody would get gunned down, then the opposites would come over here and gun down somebody, and then somebody from over here would go over there, only blocks away, and gun down somebody from over there. And it was an ever-going cycle. We have police station on our left-hand side in the lot. Now, most recently, I believe as of a year ago, there was a youngster, it was on the news, he was about, I think 14, 15, he was in his yard, they were having a little cookout, and he was gunned down in his yard. In one of these beautiful houses right here, one of these beautiful Section 8 properties. We're at 31st and Moore. So there was a lot of racial tension in this area. Over the years, this neighborhood has seen numerous incidents of racial violence. The Irish Catholics living in the neighborhood's modest row homes clashed with the African Americans living in the demolished Tasker homes and newly built Greater GRAYS Ferry Estates. There have been riots and beatings and some killings. Tension peaked in 1997 when the Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan threatened to join marchers to protest racial violence in the area, but spoke at a church rally. This is a one-way, so we're gonna go left. I'm just gonna allow the vehicles behind us to pass us because we do have several vehicles behind us, and I'm just trying to allow them to go so they don't influence our speed. On our right was the highway, Schuylkill Expressway and all of that. So we're passing Corley's or Corley's. All right, we're at 30th and Mifflin. 30th and Mifflin. There's another project around the corner, not far from here, which I have went through in the past. Let's go a little further forward. Now, if you guys are wondering what is the crime like in this area, based on GRAYS Ferry's crime stats reported by AreaVibes.com, they receive an F rating for crime. Crime in the area, total crime is up 91% above the national average. Violent crime is up 230% above the national average. Property crime is up 64% above the national average. Key findings show that in GRAYS Ferry, you have a 1 in 23 chance of becoming a victim of crime. We're passing Dover Street. Let's make this left down Dover so you guys can see one of these more quiet or quaint blocks. And again, looks may be deceiving. Some people live here, they say Tune is perfectly fine. Other people live here and say Tune is a dangerous area. Danger is in the eyes of the beholder. We all perceive danger differently. GRAYS Ferry is said to be safer than 27% of the cities in Pennsylvania. 27%. Year over year, crime in Philadelphia has not changed.